Hi, my name is Mark Keene from Keene Engineering, and I'm going to show you a new product that we're working on. I'm not quite finished with it yet, but I wanted to kind of show you the direction we're going. I've sold probably 2 or 3 of these to select customers, and the guys are really happy. They're actually telling me how wonderful the product is, so I'm excited to kind of give you a rough idea of what we got. So we're looking at really putting together some basic kits that we already offer. I've got the A52S sluice box, which is the best sluice box in the world, hands down, for high production, for easy setup, etc. So that's been just an amazing sluice box, and everybody loves it. Nothing but great reviews. So that's the heart of the system. The next part we're attaching, this is a sluice box extension kit, and this basically has some rubber flaps, a classifier screen, some Miracle mat, and another little rubber damper in the back here. And this is to use to put an extension on the sluice box. And then we have an actual hopper system, and I've actually showed you all this stuff before that we attached to the A52S, but here's the big change. Rather than running it with a gasoline engine, how this thing is really originally designed, I'm actually taking 2 12-volt pumps to drive this system, and I'm going to put it together for me for the first time. So if it makes some mistakes, I hope you understand. But I'm kind of excited. Like I said, I got about 2 or 3 customers out there actually actively using this, and they're giving me some feedback, and I've learned quite a bit, and I'm still learning more stuff on it. In this industry, you never stop learning. So let me put it together for you and kind of give you an idea. But the main thing is that if you're able to power it with a 12-volt pump, you're able to go in very quiet. You know, if I'm just going to go high banking, okay, and I'm not interested in dredging, but I still want to move a lot of material, and I don't want to go through the expense of a gas engine, or if I want to maintain a low profile. And a lot of places that I go to, especially, you know, and with some of the local regulations are a little strict. If I go in with something like this, I can maintain an extremely low profile. You're basically, the only thing you hear is the water pressure and the gravel going into the sluice box. So it's a very stealthy operation. So let me put it together for the first time, and I'll show you how it goes together. So first of all, I'm going to dismantle my A52S sluice. I've done a couple, taken some of the bolts out to make my job easier. So let me pull this apart here. Okay, so this should just lift right out. Okay, so I'm not going to use this part at all. I'm going to put this off to the side. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to just do a quick, I'm going to remove my jet flare, which is actually pre-unbolted. So that's set aside. I'm not going to use that. So I'm just going to use the sluice box. So take my legs, set them up real quick. I love these legs. They make life so much easier. Okay, let's kick this one forward 1 notch. Okay, now one's set. Let's go a little shorter here. You know, whenever you're running a high banker like this, it's really important, especially not so much with a gasoline engine, but with a battery powered system. The water pumps have no head pressure to them. So we have to keep everything as close to the water as possible to eliminate as much head or to lift. See, these 12-volt pumps, they flow a pretty good flow. Each pump does around 2,200 gallons a minute. So, you know, probably by the time you go through your friction loss and everything, you're probably doing, you know, about 1/3. So let's say 1,800 gallons a minute, something like that. But they're very, very temperamental when it comes to lift above the water. If you try to put like a 20-foot hose and go 3 feet in the air, you're not going to have enough water to run the system. So it's super important when you set these things up to make sure, you know, everything is low to the water. Even if you're dredging, you have to make sure that everything is extremely low to the water. So that sets up so easy. And I love the way you can articulate the different pieces. So this is the the hopper extension, or the hopper adapter. So I'm just going to do a quick disassembly on this. The rubber flaps are really important, and whether you're running a gas or a battery powered system. But for assembly, you have to completely disassemble the thing. So you can see we got a multitude of different layers. So this basically attaches into here. Battery powered tool to make your job easy. I really like the way that this one sluice box can be turned into, like, you know, half a dozen different pieces of equipment. You can turn into a dredge, a high banker, a gasoline powered high banker. In this case, we're going to do a 12-volt high banker. And you know, there's something else to say for about it. The battery powered 12 volts is, you know, besides being silent, it's just nice not to have to hear a gas engine. And the problem with most of the battery powered ones that I've seen out in the past, they didn't have any yardage capability. The guys who are running these things for me right now, they're actually honestly getting a yard an hour through it. And that's not a prediction that I'm telling you, that's a prediction or what these customers are telling me. So, and what I really like about this sluice box hopper system is that it folds up within, you know, when the legs are down, it all folds up inside. Obviously right now it's not going to fold up that well. So I think the trickiest thing is probably getting your first rod in here. Here's, I've gone ahead and removed the classifier screen. It makes it easier to assemble my first rod. The only trick, if you look down here, Magic, you'll see how there's a slot cut in here. You see that slot? I had to kind of line this rod up, this adapter here with that slot so it goes straight down. So now I should be able to slide this through without hopefully too much trouble. It would help if I wasn't blind, but we'll make do. Okay, that wasn't so bad. Okay, so what we've done here is I've gone and installed like a little piece of rubber here, and what it does, it keeps rocks and gravel from getting jammed in between this metal piece and the plastic. I had a couple of people complain originally that they were getting some sand jammed in there, so jams and some pebbles and stuff. All right, so that went into place without too much trouble. Okay, so we're done there. So now I'm going to go insert my second rod, and this is a big rubber damper here, and again, this is to slow the water flow, get rid of the waves, break any surface tension. So once you come around that side. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start putting the sluice box back together now. So I'm going to drop in my Miracle mat. Okay, it's all pushed down in here. That's good. And then I'm going to drop in my my expanded metal. This is a kind of a unique expanded metal. It's much taller than we normally use, like in our A52 sluices. But it works really well in conjunction with the Miracle mat or even like a piece of the green carpet. I've had amazing results with this. So this basically drops in, and then you just take a little washer, wing bolt. You can put a nut on it either way, but I'm going to use a wing bolt right now. Now, I don't know if we need this or not, but because this here should hold it down, but I'm going to put this in here next. Here's my classifier screen. Okay, and this just clamps down, so I'll take a washer and a wing bolt. So now the expanded metal underneath is held down by both this and the wing bowl. Okay, so you can kind of see now you have a nice adjustment for the screw spot. You can adjust it up and down, whichever position you want. Okay, one more piece to put back in here, and let me go ahead and get that set up. So now I'm going to go ahead and install this my main rubber damper. And again, the rubber damper here, what it does is it slows the water flow down, it gets rid of the bumps in the water, and it knocks down the surface tension. So it really does help with the fine gold recovery. So slide my rod in, put my cotter pin, and we're almost ready for action. So I'm going to turn this around now so you can see the other side. It's pretty light, by the way. We're probably talking, I haven't weighed it, but if the sluice is about 20 pounds less the jet flare, this probably weighs another, so we're probably in the 35-pound neighborhood, somewhere in that category. Now here's what's different compared to what we normally offer. See, on this end here, we have an 1.25 inch input. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to plug up the pressure hose port, completely block it off. And I'm just going to use a simple 1-inch plastic pipe cap. Okay, now on this end here, these are just simple 1-inch PVC pipe, and you can see they're not glued in. We have staggered holes going through here. Okay, and the holes are actually all facing uphill, actually a direction. So when the pressure normally comes down through here, it tends to make the water spray straighter. But you could actually, in this case, we might even reverse in the other direction, but I'm not sure. I haven't really experimented with that. So this here, I'm going to shove this back in here. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull the end cap off. Again, none of these caps are glued in. None of this PVC is glued together, because sometimes you have to do some fine adjusting on how you want to have the spray. If you want it to be coming straight across, you want it to go down more. If you know, so it just depends on how you want to adjust it. So we make this so the customer can adjust it. So this just goes back in here, and I'll shove this in here. And really about all the impact you have to do is just a good twist. If you find a spot you like, you can glue it in if you want. Now here's the crazy thing. See, again, remember how I was talking earlier about friction loss in water, okay? Any kind of reductions, adapters you put in one of these pumps here is a significant drop in performance. So it's really important that you keep everything open. And this is a little bit crude, but all I'm going to do here is I've actually taken the hose, and I've actually slid it on here before. Kind of stretch the hose out so it's a little bit looser. So I can twist it onto here, and I can take a simple hose clamp, and I'm going to do that to this end as well. Okay, get my clamp on here, and I'll take this one here. I might have to pull it off all the way to get the cap off. Okay, got it. And like I said, this is the first time that I've done this with this unit, so I mean with a battery powered system. Okay, with the battery powered system, there's really a couple things I really like. Number one, you are very stealthy. You're silent. You're not making any noise. You're not going to have any rangers snooping around. You're not going to have any public coming around your spot. You're able to maintain a nice low profile. And plus, with this type of a package system, we're capable of processing a lot of material. I'm able to run close to a yard, or right at almost a yard an hour through this box, and I've had about 2 or 3 customers document that for me. It's not what I estimated. I would have said a little less, but they're telling me no problem, hitting a yard an hour through the system. But the 12-volt pump system, there's another thing that's nice too. Besides being stealthy, it's just nice to have a system that's quiet. You don't have to hear this gas engine running all day long. You just plug it into a couple small batteries. I would probably use what's called as a U1 battery. It's a little battery. It's about probably this big, and it only weighs about maybe 15, 20 pounds in that neighborhood. And I think it's called a U1 MGA or AGM battery, and that will run one of these pumps probably about 4 to 6 hours, and that's about all I'm good for. I'm not exactly a spring chicken anymore, so I can't shovel 8 hours like I used to, but I can knock out a good 4 to 6 hours in a day. So what I do is I like to carry 2 of the batteries. I actually bought 4 batteries, okay? And what I'll do is I'll bring 2 batteries in, and I can handle those because they're nice and lightweight. The days of me hauling around a 50, 60 pound battery or over, it's just too much weight for my back. So I have to be very careful what I'm doing nowadays. So we're doing a lot of stuff that's much lighter and much easier to transport. So what I'll do is I'll keep my 2 batteries that run me 4 to 6 hours for the whole day. And then I'll always have 2 batteries back at camp being charged. So if I want to run longer and have someone help me out, I'll then go ahead and we'll bring in the 2 other batteries and swap. So remember, U1 battery, and you can buy a pair of them for about $100, somewhere between 80 and about 140 bucks for a good set of pair of the batteries. And you just use a standard battery charger. But again, this is something that I don't really have a part number for it yet. I probably will eventually, but I've had such good positive feedback from a couple of the customers. I wanted to share it with you. And this is probably something I'm gonna take on my vacation because it's just so light and portable. I mean, think about it. This sluice box, you fold your legs down. This hopper folds in within the sluice box. So you have a very compact system. And what I have is I have like a little 24-foot RV. So what I can do is I can take this whole thing, fold the legs up, fold the hopper down, and I have something that's maybe 3 foot long by maybe, 12 inches wide by maybe, 16 inches tall. So you talk about a nice portable package. But I love it because it's silent and it moves a lot of material. So I hope you'll catch the same enthusiasm that I have, and I'm excited to go on and try one. I haven't tried it yet. This is the first time I put it together, so I'm actually pretty excited to see how everything works out. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll probably post some documentation on it coming out down the road.